Okay, so I'm going to begin to deal with what Feldenkrais thought of as our self-image, our primary image, and bringing that into the lessons now. And what he means by this image is not so much a visual image, though that is part of it. It's also a functional image, a psychological image, an emotional image, a physiological image. It's a combination of all of these that makes up who we are, right? And he doesn't define the self-image. He leaves that up to you. He leaves that up to us, to the individual, because we all have very, very different self-images, right? Very different. Because a cat or a dog, they know they're cats or dogs, and that's how they act. That's it. But a human being, we can act like cats and dogs. We can bark, we can meow, some of us can purr. So what makes up the individual is so precious in that way, but also so interfered with in terms of when we are forming this image of ourselves as we're developing. And another part of that self-image is the self-image that when we look in the mirror and we say, oh, that's who I am. And that's the most superficial of the self-images. So if one were left alone, totally left alone, and just one was just allowed to find one's way, so to say, we would have a more rounded, better self-image. But because that's not what happens in our society, that there are demands made on us at a very, very early age to conform. And these demands can take us away from what we call our natural self-image. So, and I got he's got a lecture here that's 5 pages long. It would take me an hour and something to read it, but he says that we usually act according to our ability. And what he says is that means no one decides or plans what he does and knows how it should feel, what should be done. In other words, our ability to just do something is very spontaneous. We don't plan it. We don't. When we feel inept, when we feel maybe we're not going to meet up to somebody's demands, then we start to make plans with ourselves. How am I going to do this? How should I do that? But just in everyday behavior, we don't plan. When I was looking at this morning, I was having my morning coffee. Yes, I drink coffee in the morning. And, I just reach out, take the cup, I drink it, and I put it back down. And then I was reading this, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, I just did that totally spontaneously. And he brings this up, and I'm just going to give you the shorthand version of it. That, so then, an expert comes along and says, listen, this is the way you should drink coffee. You should put 3 fingers in around the grip of the coffee cup, and you should pick the cup up, and then you should bring it forward in front of yourself, and then you should bring it toward your lips, and then tilt it 90 degrees, and and then you have the expert telling you how to drink coffee, and lo and behold, it's not about drinking coffee anymore. It's about doing something that this expert wants you to do, and then my experience of that is I don't enjoy the coffee anymore. When I was growing up, I had 2 distinct families. I had an Italian family and a Scottish family. It's very distinct. And Italians ate a certain way, and the Scots ate a very different way, the British way. And for me, when I went to Scotland and I got together with my family, to me they were like eating with scalpels. The way they cut things, the way they used their forks and knives. And I was like, wait a minute, you know, for me to enjoy the food, I couldn't be that regimented with it. And so it's a very different experience for me. But if I made myself eat like that, it wouldn't be enjoyable to me, right? I would think I was just doing what somebody wants me to do, right? So he says that, and I want to read this because I think it's very important to get a feeling that, you know, people are educated how they should be. And most people find that to a certain degree, they are able to be what is demanded of them. They are able to be what is demanded of them. But with most things, they are not able to be like what is demanded of them. So, you know, what he's saying there is quite simply that somebody can make demands on you, and you can do what they're demanding, and you're able to do it. But you can't be like what they're demanding you to do. So, you know, if you take some kind of instance in your life when somebody wanted you to do something, maybe you could do what they wanted you to do, but you didn't like it or you didn't want to do it, right? But you did it. And you did it maybe to accommodate, maybe because you felt they were authoritative, whatever, but you didn't do you at that point. You didn't do what you wanted to do, right? So, and he said that most people during life, you know, things are, especially a child growing up, there's more things that are forced upon us through learning than those that we develop by ourselves. So this self-image in the beginning is just pretty much developing by itself through ourselves, and then the demands of society, of culture, of whatever starts to take over, right? So he says, so what do we do? What can we do? He said, you know, how can we continue to develop? Because most people, we don't continue to develop, we continue to do what's demanded of us, right? And so some of you have a hard time listening to this maybe even right now because you feel like you should be doing something. Well, you should be doing nothing, right? So he says, so what actually needs to be done? I'm going to cut to the quick. He said, once we're dealing with this self-image, right? You come up with disturbances. If somebody's telling you to do something and you have to do it, but you don't like doing it or you don't want to do it, that's a disturbance, right? And if you start to pay attention to those disturbances, and we're not talking about healing here, we're not talking about the medical process of healing, we're talking about a self-image that one is dealing with. He said, those disturbances are in your body, they're in your muscles, right? So if you pay attention to your feelings, if you pay attention to what your body is telling you, right? And this is what he says now. I'm going to read verbatim. The moment we see these disturbances in the body image and distinguish them, there is no need to do anything to do it better. The natural tendency of all living creatures is to go in the direction that helps them, which makes them better. This is not about healing. This is about how we do ourselves. And here's what he's saying. When you come into contact with disturbances, especially in your body image, and you distinguish them, you don't need to make them better. As a matter of fact, you can't make them better. All you need to do at that time, you don't need to do anything about making the image better. It's just notice what's disturbing your image. And then once you do that, there's a natural tendency to go on to be better. That's going to happen. That's what's inside of us. That makes us who we are, right? So this has to do with the self-image and improving our self-image, right? And so I'm going to cut to the quick, go right to the end. First of all, what we want to do, he says, so what's the direction that we can go in? Is we will begin to correct the body image. The body image, right? And we will try to start in this way so you can distinguish what it is. Everybody's body image is going to be very different, but you're going to have feelings. And there's 4 components to your body image. There's sensing, feeling, moving, and thinking. And they're all tied together. And he said, if you want to take all 4 of those and improve sensing, improve feelings, improve thinking, improve movement, you'll spend a lifetime doing it. But the interesting thing is that if you really improve one of those, you would generalize, associate to all the others, because you can't really take them apart, only in the abstract. And for him, it was movement. For Moshe, movement was life. If you improved your movement, and I'm talking about movement from the neuromuscular sense of moving, you would improve your self-image. Okay, so lie on your backs now. And maybe that did something to you. Maybe you have an inkling, and I'm hoping it confused you. Because you think you know who you are and what your self is. And for a lot of us, we don't. We have inklings into it. So just notice now as you're lying on the floor, see if you can have your arms kind of down toward the sides rather than out to the side, so that your legs are long and your arms are long down, right? And he thought of this self-image as 5 cardinal lines, the lines of the right leg, the right arm, the left arm, and the line of your spine. And he said that there's, at a certain age, every child, if you ask them to draw a human body, they will draw that stick figure with a round ball for a head, right? That's pretty much it. And I remember drawing that and thinking that, because that's how kids sense the representation of themselves. So just notice now, your right heel, the contact of your right heel on the floor, and the contact of your right hip. Just notice that, the contact of your right hip and the contact of your right heel. And a couple of times, just go from your right heel to the contact of your right hip, and then from the contact of your right hip back down to the contact of your right heel. And I'm going to say to you, how do you get from your hip to your heel and your heel to your hip? How do you do that? How do you notice your right hip and then your right heel, and your right heel and then your right hip? What do you do? Well, partly what you do is draw a line. You don't go out to the right somewhere and come back to your heel or whatever, or go toward your mid. No, you draw pretty much a straight line. That's proprioceptive awareness. So now, between your right hip and your right heel, begin to sense, feel, see, which is in this sense thinking, and move that line from your hip going down towards your right heel. Listen now, this is very important. It's not your body. It's not the shape of your leg. It's not your bones. It's an abstract line from your right hip to your right heel. In the world of Chi, these are called Chi lines. From the right hip to the right heel, just sensing that line, that straight line that goes from your right hip to your right heel. Notice how you do that. And notice, you don't need to be exact with it. The more exact you are, the more logical you're trying to be, the more you're trying to fix it and place it. That's not what we're doing. There's a very natural line that goes from the right hip to the right heel. And this is going to take time. Be curious about it. Play with it. Begin to draw that line from the right hip down the back of the right leg. Feeling that line going down. Doesn't have to be in the middle of the leg, center of the leg, outside, wherever it goes, down the leg, down the lower leg, and to the back of the heel. Wherever it is. So You know, for some people, this line, listen to what I'm saying, this line might be all the way out to the right somewhere. For some people, this line might be all the way over to the left somewhere. For most of you, it's somewhere in between. Take your time. And then draw the line when you get to the right heel, back up from the right heel, back up slowly. See it moving, feel it moving. The line moves. It'll come and go in your sight. It goes back up to the right heel, to the right hip, from the heel up to the hip. And do that a few times with yourself. Right hip, right heel. Now, very quickly, just listen. Notice your right hip, notice your right heel. Notice your right heel, notice your right hip. Notice your right hip, notice your right heel. Notice your right heel, notice your right hip. Notice how you get from one to the other. Notice if there isn't this line that you're following. Take your time. And rest. And just get a sense of your right leg, your right heel, your right hip. Just a feeling of the right leg on the floor, the way you're experiencing your right leg. You know, there's no right or wrong here. There's only your experience and what's happening right now. And that we build on that experience to make it better. Because there's a natural, as he said, there's a natural tendency for humans to want to get better at what they do. This is our ability, right? So now notice, now that there's nothing that needs to be a certain way with your body. Your body doesn't need to be like this or like that, right? Tai Chi is a great saying that no one understands except maybe a few Tai Chi people that are really good at it. Bend and be straight. Well, your body's bent, but the lines of Chi lines are straight. Notice the back of your left heel, the back of your left hip. The back of your left heel, the back of your left hip. And then just let the breathing be easy, natural, not in any certain way. Well, one thing to notice is that when you start to pay attention and you start to maybe work with this line a little, do you do something to your breathing? No need to. So now, whatever approximation you have, find the back of the right hip there on the floor. Find the back, left hip, sorry. Find the back of the left heel. And now draw a line. Now draw a line from the back of the left hip down the leg, down toward the back of the left heel. Doesn't have to be in the leg. Just easy. Draw a line from the back of the left hip down to the left heel. You don't need to impose any position or disposition on yourself. You don't need to make those demands right now. Just let the line go from the left hip to the left heel. And then from the left heel, go up, slowly up the leg. You will see at times you feel it. At times you get it. At times it's moving. Moshe's last book was titled The Elusive Obvious. You are now in that realm. It will come and go. Easy. The elusive obvious. Wow, it's so obvious. And then it eludes one. Easy. And then, now look at the right hip, left hip, look at the left heel, look at the left heel, look at the left hip, look at the left hip, look at the left heel. Notice how you're getting from your left heel to your left hip to your left heel. What are you following? Just see if you could be curious about that process, right? It's quite extraordinary that we can have this sense of proprioception and actually consciously work with it, right? So once again, just nice and easy, draw the line down the left leg to the left heel, and then from the left heel, when you're ready, you'll come back up. Slow, easy, soft. And then rest. No matter where you are, just rest. And in resting, just notice now a sense of the left leg, the line of the left leg. Now, is there something different from the line of the left leg to the line of the right leg? Nothing could be more true than that there's a difference. If there's not a difference, that means you're trying to make something that's not true. Both sides are very, very asymmetrical in the way that you step on the floor, carry your weight, shift your weight, turn to look. So feel the difference from the right to the left. Notice one line might go out to one side further, one line might come in different. One line might be straighter, one line might not be so straight. One line might be continuous, one line discontinuous. Pay attention. When people who have kind of omitted parts of themselves, oh, I have a bad left leg. Oh, my left leg is no good. That line won't be so continuous. Oh, my stomach is no good. And, all of these parts of ourselves that we try to get rid of, that we label as no good, we start to lose contact with them, right? They're not part of our self-image. Only when it hurts. Oh, there's that pain again. When it's not hurting, it's not there. So now pay attention to the top of your right shoulder, the back of your right hand, and palms up toward the ceiling, and palms facing toward the ceiling above you. And just draw a line from the back of the right shoulder down to the back of the right hand. Nice and easy. Following. Again, you don't need to follow the arm. You don't need to follow the bones. Follow the sense of straightness from the shoulder to the hand. Here, now watch. Draw a line. Listen now. Draw a line from your right shoulder to your right elbow. And now from your right elbow to your right hand. That is not the line we're talking about. Draw a line from your right shoulder to your right hand. See what's different in that line. Feel that difference? Sense that difference? From the right shoulder to the right elbow to the right hand, and then just from the shoulder to the hand. Doesn't need to go through the elbow. Something very different happens. Take your time. And begin to draw that line. Feel it, see it from the right shoulder down to the back of the right hand, however it's traveling. See your right shoulder, see the back of the right hand, right shoulder, back of the right hand, back of the right hand, right shoulder, back of the hand, right shoulder. Draw a line from the back of the shoulder down to the right hand. Draw a line from the back of the hand up to the shoulder. Easy. And again, the line will come and go. Don't try and keep it. You're not trying to make a picture of it, frame it, box it, take it home with you. None of that. Easy. And again, I'm going to bring up something right now because some of you are having disturbances. What do you do with the disturbances? Do you like, oh, I got to fix this, I got to cure this, I got to make it better? Can you just stay with it right now? Pay attention to what's happening. Good. So now notice the line of the right arm, the line of your right leg, the right line of your left leg. Those three lines. Just get a sense of those three lines. The left leg, right arm. Can you contact? It's easy to contact like the two legs, right? I can feel those two. Now, can you contact the two legs and the arm? Those have three of those in your mind's eye, meaning sensing, feeling, moving, thinking, all at once. Notice the back of your left shoulder, the back of your left hand, back of your left shoulder, the back of your left hand. And notice if it gets, if one line on one side, one arm is easier. Right shoulder, right hand. Draw a line, feel the line. Left shoulder, left hand. You know, it's incredible if you really pay attention. So, wow, I can't see that. I can't experience that. Something's missing. Something's missing somewhere. Anybody that doesn't have that experience here right now, you're kidding yourself. If you think you have a full experience of your self-image, you kid yourself. So pay attention to what's left out. Pay attention to where the blind spots are. Where's the omission? Now draw a line from your left shoulder to your left elbow to your left hand. Feel that line. Left shoulder, left elbow, left hand. Now just draw a line from your left shoulder to your left hand. See if you can sense what's different about that line. The functional line is the line from the shoulder to the hand. It does not need to go through the angle of the elbow. It creates a straightness that the elbow needs to adjust to when you go to reach for something. You don't reach for something going out to your elbow and then into your hand. You reach for something from your shoulder to whatever the object is, and the arm needs to adjust to your straight line. And so notice the back of the left hand, the back of the left shoulder, back of the left shoulder, back of the left hand. To feel that line on the left side. Play with it. See if you can get it to move as you're creating it. To feel movement. Start to feel movement. Good. So now you've got 4 lines. So the line of the left arm, line of the right arm, line of the right leg, line of the left leg. Feel those 4 lines. Feel the 2 lines of the arms, the 2 lines of the legs. Feel those lines. Feel those lines. Or get a sense of the 2 lines of the legs, the 2 lines of the arms. Notice the line of your right leg and your right arm. What happens with your right eye when you do that? Notice the line of your right leg and your right arm. What happens to your right eye? Notice the line of your right leg and your right arm. What happens to your right eye? Notice how your right eye does something very different on the right side of your face. It starts to line up in the socket a little differently. That's how deep on the physiological level this work goes. Notice your left leg, your left arm. The line of your left leg, the line of your left arm. Line of your left leg, line of your left arm. Notice what happens to your left eye. Line of your left leg, line of your left arm. What happens to your left eye? Huh. Notice your breathing right now. Let go of the lines. Just notice your breathing. Notice the lowest part of your back, your sacrum. Notice a point at the lowest part of the back of your head on the floor right now. Notice the lowest part of your back, the sacrum between your hips, down on the floor. Very approximate. Just take a guess. Don't worry. You don't need to get out your slide rule and be exact. You know. Notice the point behind your head. Notice the distance from your sacrum on the floor, the middle of your sacrum somewhere, to that point behind your head. Line of the spine. But it's not the spine, it's the line of the spine. It's not the spine, it's the line. Some people, if you have scoliosis, your spine might be over to the left or over to the right, but your line is going to have to be from the sacrum to the head. or else you would be falling all the time. Easy. And you just feel that line of your spine. Today we're going to work more with the lines of the legs and the arms, and as we go along, we'll bring the spine more and more into focus. So all this breathing we have done, all this lung breathing, let's see where we can bring some of this into our self-image, right? So as you inhale now, breathe, follow the breath, the line of the breath, right? Is the line of your breathing straight or is it bent? Does the line of your breath go crooked? No, it comes right in. So it goes down the back of the nose, down the back of the mouth, straight down the trachea. Follow that line into the lower right lobe. Right into the lower right lobe of your right lung. Feel that line? Feel that line of breath go right down into the lower right lung, lower lobe of the right lung. Pay attention. You're increasing the lower right lobe of the lung as you inhale. Easy. I'm going to ask you, while you're doing that, while you're increasing the size of the lower right lung, what happens to your right leg? What happens to your right leg? Pay attention. What happens to your right leg? Can you start to feel your right leg starts to lengthen, or there's a line going down your leg as you inhale into the lower right lobe, into your lower. Anybody else having a problem hearing? Into the lower right lobe. Is it something on your phone? Did you do something? Lower right lobe. As you're inhaling, feel the lower right leg, the line of the leg. How does the breathing into the lower right lobe, how does that breathing interface with the line going down your right leg? Does it feel that there's some kind of interaction? Pay attention. Does the leg seem to, you might feel that your leg, now I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but you might feel that your leg is actually lengthening a little. You might feel the straight line. Or you might not. It's very important not to make anything happen here, just to see what is happening. And as we go along, as we work more and more with the self-image, more and more of yourself is going to emerge, going to become available, right? So as you're breathing into the lower right lobe, what happens down the right leg, if anything? See if you can sense. Now breathe into the upper right lobe. The upper right lobe of the right lung, all the way on the upper right side, into the shoulder, into the clavicle, into the upper right side of the back, and that starts to lengthen, right? We've been working on this for a while, the upper right side. So what happens to the line of the right arm? Does the right arm that line seem to be going toward your hand or getting pulled away from the hand? Pay attention now. Pay attention, it might surprise you. Easy. And there's nothing like being surprised. That means you are breaking a habit. Easy. So see, as you breathe into the upper right lung, feel what happens in the right arm. Does the inclination as you're inhaling and the lung increases, does the inclination in the arm seem to be that it wants to slide up toward you or slide down away from you? Now, some of you, you might find, you want to do this, or you think you should be doing this, rather than this is what's happening. That's how we get in touch with our self-image. And at that point, right, it doesn't matter what your legs look like, or what your behind looks like, or what color hair you have, or any of that stuff. Doesn't matter. See, what matters is that you're in touch with what's happening right now, and that you, whatever you're doing, is to the best of your ability right now. That's what's important. So now breathe into the lower right lung and the upper right lung at the same time. Feel the whole lung expand and see if you can interface that interaction. Look what's going on with the line of the right leg and the line of the right arm. Notice if your shoulder and your heel are going away from each other, which is what we worked on doing the breathing, that would mean that something's going down the leg and something's coming up the arm. Take your time. Take your time. All on the right side. Listen to them as you breathe in. Listen to the lung expanding. Listen to the leg, the right leg. Listen to the right arm. Listen to them. Listen to sensations, feelings, movement. There might be movement. And listening right now is thinking. You're listening to your body in a very different way than you think. For most people, thinking just becomes a way of making demands of themselves. Yikes. Good. So now, let go of that. Just rest and just feel what's different on your right side there. Just notice what's different on your right side. What's different? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? So now, as you pay attention to your left lung as you follow the breath down your throat, down the trachea, into your left lung. It has a direct line there. And now feel the lower left lobe expanding down toward the left hip as you inhale. Feel that the lower left lobe expanding down to the lower left lobe of the lung as you inhale. And now, as the lung is expanding on the lower left lobe, it's going down toward your hip. What's happening to the line down your left leg? Anything? Anything? As you're inhaling into the lower left lobe, what happens to the line down your left leg? That line seemed to move. Do you have sensations about that line? Do you have feelings about that line? Feelings and sensations are very different, right? Do you have thoughts as you listen? Do you feel the line move as you inhale into the lower left lobe? Now inhale into the upper left lobe, and then start to expand the upper left lobe of the lung on the left side. And that expansion goes up toward your shoulder, into your chest, up toward the left side of your neck. And as that upper left lobe, on each inhalation, just taking your time on each inhalation, as you're inhaling, the upper left lobe expands. What happens to the line of your left arm? Does it seem to get pushed down, pulled up? Not saying that you're doing that. What's happening internally? This is listening to your internal inclination. Or is it missing? It's not, nothing's happening. And if you can stay with that, that would be great. Staying with nothing is happening is much better than doing the wrong thing. Because that's usually what the habit is. I'm doing the wrong thing, but I'm doing the wrong thing right. That's what we all, I do the wrong thing very right. And I feel right about doing the wrong thing very right. Yep, easy, easy. Now expand on the left side, the lower left lobe, the upper left lobe, both at the same time. Just feel the whole lung expanding on the left side. And as you do that, as the whole lung expands on the left side, what happens down the left leg? What happens up the left arm? Pay attention. If anything, right? Just easy, easy. If the lung is expanding down, how is that interfacing with your left leg? If the lung is top of the lung is expanding up, how is that interfacing? How is that behaving with interacting with your left arm? Pay attention. Let that go. Please rest. Just feel your left side, left leg, left arm. Notice your breathing. And now you can get a sense of both legs on the floor, both arms, a sense of breathing. So now as you inhale, pay attention now as you're inhaling, pay attention now to your lower left lobes on both the right and left. So I want you to inhale and imagine that both lobes on the right and left as you inhale are expanding down toward your hips, both lobes. So there's something that happens maybe down both your legs, right and left, as you inhale. Easy, just expanding the lobes on both sides of your lung. And feel what do your legs seem to lengthen out away from you. Pay attention to those lines. Forget about the legs. Pay attention to the lines. What happens to the lines? If the lines start to lengthen, you are going to have the sensation of lengthening without needing to lengthen. If the lines seem to get straighter, you are going to have sensations, and straightness is a sensation, by the way, and you are going to have sensations of being straight. If the lines seem to get longer, you are going to have sensations of length. As you inhale into both lower lobes. Now let go of that and inhale into both upper lobes on the right side, the left side. And feel that. Feel when you inhale to both upper lobes, what's the sensations in your arms? What's happening in your arms? Easy. Both upper lobes. Real nice, real easy with yourself. Just listening, feeling. Now, as you inhale into both upper lobes, can you sense what your thoracic spine, like behind your solar plexus, your spine, up into your neck, as you inhale into both lobes, what's your thoracic spine doing? Does that seem to be elongating? Maybe. A sense of right up into the back of the head. And now, go back to the lower lobes again. And as you're inhaling into both lower lobes, in the sense of maybe your legs lengthening down, what is your lower spine, your lumbar spine, behind your navel? What is that part of the spine doing? Does that seem to be lengthening down? Easy. Now just get a sense of as you inhale that the lower lobes on both sides and the upper lobes all the lungs expand up and down at both sides as you inhale. And don't add, don't make anything happen, just feel the lengthening of your spine. Maybe. Okay? Let go of that and rest. And in resting, feel your 5 cardinal lines. Feel the image that those lines have right now. There's a sensory level to it, there's a feeling level, there's a movement level, there's a visual image that you can be having, and they're all attached. If it's just a visual image, step inside of it. That's the most superficial. That's the easiest, right? And it's the most removed from the actual physiological level, the chemical level, which we know nothing about, right? Easy? Easy, unless that happens to be your profession, but Good. Come to lying on your left side. And put your left arm long up above your head. Rest your head on your left arm. Put your right leg in front of you and bend the right leg in front of you and bend your right knee. Put the right leg on the floor. Now straighten your left leg down. Good. And in that position, easy, breathe into your lower left lobe on the left side and feel what the line going down your leg as you breathe into the lower left lobe. Feel the line going down the left leg. Every time you breathe in, and don't rush yourself. And your breathing should take longer and longer and easier and easier. You know, the truth is, if you just do one and it feels good, that's plenty. The more you do, the less you feel good about it. Why would you keep doing something that you did it and it feels good? Why do you need to keep doing it? Well, shouldn't it get better if I keep doing it? No. More than likely, it's not. It's going to get worse. Once you do it and it feels good, hey, what else is there? Easy, easy. And that feeling of good is usually spontaneous. Now breathe into the upper left lobe and feel what happens. Breathe into the upper left lobe. Easy, easy. Easy. Now breathe into both the lower lobe, the upper lobe, and just feel what happens down your leg, up your arm. Just feel that lengthening throughout the side, the line of the left side. Just feel it. You know? Now, again, it doesn't have to be exact. It's not like you're putting something down on paper. It's more an internal experience of yourself that we're looking for, away from what you think is right, what you think you should be doing, what you think, what you're going to plan to do, or what you would like to do. None of that's going to help you right now. And it shouldn't. You should see through it, right? Easy. The whole left side is lengthening, right? And then nice and easy, roll onto your back and straighten your legs and bring your arm down and feel the left side. What's different on your left side? Just, real easy now. What leg seems straighter? What arm seems straighter? What leg seems longer? These are happenings that are going on right now. Not something that you did. It's something that's happening to you. Very, very, for lack again of that word, very natural in a sense, very reflexive, responsive, spontaneously responding right now. Come to lying on your right side. Enjoy put your arm up long, put your left knee in front of you on the floor, the right leg is long, let your head rest, just let your arm, the other hand, what's the other hand? What hand? The left hand, just let it rest somewhere, it's all right. And now breathe into the lower left lobe, right lobe, sorry, breathe into your lower right lobe, easy, and feel that expanding. Lower right lobe, just nice and easy. If you make any effort means you're not trusting. Effort means you're not good enough. Effort means you need to be doing more. And that's the last thing you ever will find from making effort is spontaneity. It cannot happen through effort. So be nice and easy with it. Just breathing down into your lower right lobe, easy. Feel it expanding. What happens down the right leg, if anything? And now breathe into the upper right lobe. And you feel the rib cage on the floor. Do not breathe hard, deep, forcing the ribs. You only have painful ribs later on. Easy. Easy. There's a natural expansion going on due to the position that you're in. The ribs are pressed into the floor. Easy. Now breathe into both the lower right lobe, the upper right lobe. Easy, easy. Be soft and easy with the breathing. Dare I say, make it pleasurable? No, dare I say, can your breathing be pleasurable? And just feel that expansion, nice and easy. That magic feeling, nothing to do. That magic feeling, nothing to do. It's all just happening. Yeah. And it gets easier and easier, and more starts to happen, the easier and easier it gets. Lie on your backs. Feel how you lie on the floor. Feel what's different about your sense of the right side now, the right leg, the right arm. Feel that 5-line image, the leg, the right leg, the left leg, the right arm, the left arm, the line of your spine. Just notice if you go from one to the other, right leg to left leg, left arm to right arm, line of the spine. Can you feel the two arms at the same time? Can you feel the two arms and your spine at the same time? Can you feel that image, sense image? Can you feel the line of the spine and your two legs at the same time? Can you feel the two lines of your legs and two lines of your arms and your spine all at the same time? Elusive, obvious, comes and goes. Boom, boom. Feel that, feel that. And breathe into your ability to have more of your self-image. Meaning you don't need to make it happen. You need to get away from the making and allowing it to happen, which is our natural. As a cat meows and a dog barks, it's the same way with our self-images if we can only allow that to happen. It's what makes us very different. So now, breathe into your right lung. Expand the right lung up and down. Just notice, what does the right line of the right leg and the line of the right arm do? Just notice. Does it seem that the line of the leg gets longer down and the line of the arm gets longer coming up, or does the line of the arm go down? Just notice what seems to happen. Don't worry about the answer. You don't need to get it right. As a matter of fact, whoever gets it wrong today, I'm going to give you an A+. If you get it right, I'm giving you an F. And now breathe into the left lung. Up and down, up and down, up and down. The ability to be up and down at the same time in gravity is the ability to stand on one's 2 feet upright in a way that one can best face the world. Easy and full of ability. Meaning whatever comes my way, I'm going to deal with it. That's what ability is. Now, feel yourself on the floor. Feel the 5 lines. Notice your breathing. Maybe you can think back during a lesson to something that seemed difficult for you, something that was not clear, something that disturbed you. Maybe you can think back on that and look back at it with a different perspective right now, maybe. Please, in your own time, taking yourself in your own time to sitting and then to standing, taking your time. And then when you come to standing, imagine that in standing right now, just let the arms hang. You don't have to put your palms forward. Just let the arms hang, though. Notice have your feet be pretty much shoulder width, right? And if you can, the feet are parallel. But if it's an effort to bring your feet parallel, let them be where they want to be, right? And now close your eyes and contact that stick image. The lines of the legs, the lines of the arms, the line up your back. Contact that stick image. And as you inhale now, feel your right lung lengthen and go over to the right heel a little and feel the whole right side get longer, up. And then inhale and come back again, easy. Right? Inhale, go over to the right side, back toward the heel. Feel the right side, the line from the right heel up the back. That even though the weight's on the right leg, the line up your back goes up. Come back again. As you exhale, easy. One more time. Inhale, you go over to, this is where you put your weight. That's yin. Where the line goes up in the weight is yang. So you need yang to counter the pull down of gravity. Once again, inhale, just go over to the right heel and you feel the right side, the image of the right side going up. You can't make it go up. You can't do anything. You just have to feel it. The image of the right side going up, not down. Some of you are going down. You don't sense that you're going down. The right side's going up. The right lung lengthens up into the right shoulder blade, right? Stay over to the right and inhale and feel the left side, the line of the left leg is going down. Not the leg, the line of the leg. The line of the left shoulder is going down. The whole left side, the line is going down. On the right, it's going up. Yin yang. Come back to the middle. Inhale, go over to the left. Feel the line come up the left leg, up the back up the back. The line is up the back, up past your shoulder blade. Breathe into your left side now. Feel the right side, the line is going down your back, down your hip, down your leg. One line up, one line down. This is yin yang. This is the yin yang of earth chi balance. Come back to your midpoint now. Feel both your feet on the floor. Breathe in, and as you inhale, feel something goes down into your heels, and at the same time, something goes right up your back towards your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades are your scapula. So there's a lengthening throughout. And you're standing up. You don't need to straighten your legs. You don't need to straighten your head. You don't need to do any of that. You just need to let your body conform, mold, position itself around these earth chi lines. Let go of it. Feel the sense of standing. Do you feel taller, straighter, more on top of yourself, on top of your feet, on top of the world? And as Bogey said the other night on Casablanca, he is looking at you, kid. Have a great day. Play with these things in life. Play with them. Play with them. There's loads of stuff here for you. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Larry. Happy Sunday.